Hello and welcome. This is the Daily Dharma. My name is Dina. Thank you so much for joining today. We're going to go ahead and get right into it today. Go ahead and take a deep breath with me if you like. Let's let any of that drama, fear, doubt, anxiety just melt away. Give it to God, Goddess, the universe, your spirit team, whatever you believe in. Trust in the process. Let's get us a couple of animal totem oracle cards to start us out. All right, we've got several out here. Under the deck, we have Butterfly Rebirth. So this came out yesterday a little bit. I didn't actually call it rebirth, but it was definitely talking about that. It says you can reinvent yourself, open to the rewards of change. You have brilliance to share with the world. Love every part of your journey. So beautiful, some type of transformation. The first card that popped out was Lizard Regeneration. Works so phenomenally with rebirth. As a survivor, you are unparalleled. No matter what happens, you can adapt. Embrace your transformation. Put on your new cloak. You are a master of regeneration. So transformation, regeneration, rebirth energy. I'm not sure I've ever had those two together. So the other two, we have Polar Bear, Mystic. Know that challenges make you stronger. Have faith when you face adversity. Take time to rest, to dream, and to renew your strength. Embrace your psychic abilities. You carry the shaman within. I'm not sure I showed you the lizard card here. I'll give you a look at that. To me, in this image, it almost looks like the lizard has some hair or like some feathers at the back of its neck, but I think it's just the way it's drawn. I don't think it's intended to be that way, but that's the inner vision kind of stepping forward. And I feel like in this instance, it's kind of representing some type of learning process where we, like the feather in the cap or the feather in the headdress of the Native Americans, I believe it was to signify some type of significant rite of passage or accomplishment or some type of thing that they had done or demonstrated, that then they earned the energy of the animal that was represented by the feather or by the animal's pelt or so on. I mean, of course, there were also the need for clothing and things like that. So I don't know exactly how this works, but I feel like the symbol is coming through for an important reason, because it's like Spirit is telling us that something that we have done recently is being rewarded. And so we may be still in a place, depending on where you're at in all this, kind of saying like, where's my abundance? Where's my blessings? But I would suggest that something is already in formation behind the scenes. And here we have personal choice coming out next. And this one, something, personal choice. Close your eyes. What animal do you imagine? What strengths are they known for? What wisdom do they share? Embrace these qualities. And so I guess what I'm trying to say about that Native American symbolism there, it's kind of how the universe is asking us to recognize the animals that come to our attention, even if it's not in real life. Like today, for instance, I saw a muskrat, and I won't get into the whole story, but I feel like it's a lesson for me about several things. So the muskrats are predators on the chickens and the ducks if they're hungry, from what I understand. But also the energy of the totem of the muskrat depending on what type of cultural outlook you're researching. It could be many different things, but it kind of seems like it's related, that there's some type of, in my situation, this pushing through. Like I see this animal and it could easily in the third dimensional aspect be seen as a predator because it is, and so therefore a threat. But I think that the message is deeper in that instance. And so whatever animals are coming through for you, it could be something very empowering. It could be something very subtle and gentle, very etheric, very transformative here. But it looks like what we're talking about here is an upgrade in your spiritual gifts, and they're being shown to you. And one of the things that I'm recognizing is that just before this, it has been probably a month and a half, maybe 2 months since I've been getting these consistent messages to reach out to someone from back in my school days. And I, it was like me getting some form of mediumship potentially. And this is something that I'm just starting to really explore. And so I feel like for you, whether that's coming through some type of clairaudient messaging or some type of guidance or gut instincts or some type of other skill that you are developing, that as soon as you release your resistance to saying, yeah, so I should do that because I've been getting consistently prodded by the powers that be to go in this direction or to say something or to reach out. And so as soon as we start to do that, that's really embracing that, yes, clear, consistent, repeating messages for a positive step in my journey is something that should be embraced. And once we do that, we're kind of acknowledging that we're listening, that we're understanding, and that we're also, I hate the word compliant, but it's the one that comes through. It's like being a servant of the Most High, however that comes out for you. So it's some type of mystical talent or gift that's being reawakened, and it comes through your own possibly suffering or being laid low or missing out on something. It could be any number of things that seem to be somewhat challenging in our life leading up to this, but our ability to make our way beyond that and to come into something very positive from that place is what we're being told to notice in this moment. Let me go ahead and get some more oracle cards from Whispers of the Ocean Oracle. That's kind of a stack, but we'll take them. Underneath, we've got Let Your Personality Shine. Number 33, you have something that no one else does that makes you who you are. Stop comparing yourself to others and allow your uniqueness to shine through. So maybe you question your gifts because of your inner doubts, or thinking that, well, if I was a medium in my case, then wouldn't it be like this person's gifts or this person's gifts? But everything starts as a whisper. I mean, some people have the rude awakenings. So every time I say things like that, I take it back. But I think that for many of us, whenever we're developing something brand new in our lives, it takes a little while to understand it, to recognize it for what it is. Yeah, many of our lessons are like that. And it's almost like touching something hot and it feels initially cold, and it almost takes that heartbeat to be like, ooh, ow, that's hot, that's burning me. So let's see what else came out. We've got setting up parameters. Assess your relationships and determine how they are aligned with your goals. Setting boundaries requires an honest evaluation of your present relationships. So I would say that that combination is telling us that potentially this shift in your mystical potential is leading you down some new roads where you're possibly looking for individuals that know about the thing that you're trying to lean into and explore or to manifest in your life, and that certain other people that you've been exposed to in other behaviors and situations and vibrations are not as conducive to you growing and exploring these new things. And so there's this need to kind of be aware of I'm trying to relate this back to that initial resistance to leaning into whatever needs to, well, it doesn't need to, you're being invited to recognize some type of mystical potential within you. And it seems like you, with setting up parameters, you either are moving away from things that don't serve for many of you, people, places, things, or setting up some type of sacred space in order to explore this. This might look like getting some of the tools if you're going to start a new craft or a new undertaking, getting the right items and resources set up and ready to go, or setting up the sacred space. Or, maybe you've recognized that your house isn't conducive to your peace. And so setting up a little sanctuary someplace, if you've got like kids running around and people blasting the TV and you need to meditate, having some place and some time to yourself where you can go to nurture whatever this skill or ideal or new invitation that's emerging, to be able to put your energy into that in a new way. So this one says specifically relationships though. So maybe somebody that you've been around has been somehow undermining or thwarting your process, or sort of just diminishing something about your confidence in exploring this new pathway. So let's see where the cards take us. 26 is reminding us that you are exactly where you need to be right now. So don't fear too much. It's coming up next. Where you need to be says acknowledge how you're feeling. Have faith that the universe will take care of a current concern. Yep, give it to God, Goddess, like we started, by providing the best possible outcome for all involved. So there's some type of trust, having faith in something working out over the longer term. In the immediate future, it may look a little dire or bleak, but part of this transition between this and where you want to go is facing your fears in some type of a way, whether that's fear of losing out on some attachment energy with the people, place, and things that are familiar. If you hear that, that's just my dog in the background. Or it could be facing fears of success, facing the fear of putting yourself first for many individuals, and to make yourself some type of a priority, or to have faith and confidence in the emerging gifts, in the abilities that or the value that you present to other people, getting yourself back out there again and exploring and connecting in a new way. So whatever fear has been somewhat interfering in your forward momentum here, it's time to set some boundaries and limits around that fearful space, and just know that we are here to protect our inner child. And no matter where the road leads, it's almost like we could do everything perfect, but we're never free from death. It's always courting us and following us. But does that have to be a bad thing too, right? It can also motivate us to kind of, getting out of things. What am I trying to say? Like navigation. I wanted to say like bob and weave, like somebody who's a boxer and, getting out of harm's way. It can create a bit of the anticipation, and there's some type of a thrill related to risk and to pushing through things in a new way. And for many of us, this crops up a bunch of different fears. And whether we enjoy that thrill of pushing through or whether it intimidates the hell out of us, there's always that fear threshold that's right there, that super thin veil between where we are now and the courage that it takes to move into that next level. Yeah, it says look for ways to strengthen your connection to the universe and to others. Stay peaceful and calm in the knowing of who you are. Absolutely. So, yeah, reaching out to other people, coming out of your shell or your isolation, even, especially at the time of this recording, we're going into the holidays, and many of us are not on the best terms with family from even before all of the more recent things where people are really digging in their heels. And then there are many others who don't have people to even be arguing with. So there's a lot of also fear of this rejection, abandonment, isolation energy, and the pushing away of opportunities to protect the heart that was coming through in the pre-messages here. So it's time to face those fears, to set up some of those limits, and to understand that you are perfectly placed right here and now to let yourself be seen, and also to strengthen your connection with the universe, to strengthen your confirmation of your gifts and your value and the way it works with you, to work with the universe, God, goddess, whatever, in such a way that you are developing that. And that may be the thing that brings you back into connection with others. So it may be something related to being in some type of outreach capacity or expressing love, some type of healing modality or something like that. And throughout this process, it looks like setting up some healthy limits and really setting aside some time for yourself to just be and to explore who you are and where you want to go and who you want to be. And facing that is going to help you dive to these, to new depths. It says there's a deeper meaning to whatever is developing and happening and transitioning here. You might be looking at this from the surface and missing what's really going on underneath the surface. Take a moment to pause and breathe. Allow yourself to dive deeper into what it is that you're feeling about your current situation. And it looks like there are some little doubts, fears, or anxieties that are coming up that are there for us to be able to dive deeply into this. And maybe there's also, when we were talking about how it can come on all at once for some people, the gifts versus that coming in at a whisper. For some individuals from an early age, when they're connected to such intensity or whatever it might be, or spirituality, that also can lead them to try to cope with that by shutting down. Like many people who have mediumship capacity from an early age, they have all these voices, and if they share that with other people look at them crazy, and they give them all kinds of verbal nonverbals that are like, yeah, that's not okay to think about that. It's not okay to have imaginary friends or to see people, or and so from an early age we suppress and repress our potential in that way. And somebody here is really waking up to this and taking that deep breath. It's like taking that huge breath before diving deep into the water. It's like you've got to have all of that breath inside you to make it all the way down and all the way back up. It's kind of giving me that energy there. So before going on to record, I did have a few cards come out here. We've got the Stranger, Curiosity number 53 under the deck. So it could be also that somebody that you relate to as a stranger, or somebody who's even become a stranger, so to speak, like in my situation, just for the example. You know, I haven't talked to this friend of mine in probably about a decade or so, because we just go opposite directions. But for some reason, I'm being told to come back and connect with her in particular. And so it's like there's something here with this stranger energy where we can be drawn to things that seem foreign, or they can be drawn to us, people, places, things. And it sparks a bit of curiosity as far as like, well, what is actually the meaning? What is this? Is it that she's going through a hard time and needs some peopling time? She needs a good friend. I don't know if she needs confirmation that her mother is looking after her. I don't know the answer to those things, but when we lean in and we allow ourselves to be curious and not shut down and judgmental about that, then we it's showing these two came out together, 17 and 47. And it's almost like, oh damn. So I was friends with her in school, you know, back when I was maybe closer to 17, and now I'm a little bit closer to 46 or 47, but yeah, I'm 46. So I have the needle in Skybridge, possibility for union. It's like by settling our energies and reaching through the center here, by doing that deep dive through the eye of the needle here with our intention to, I don't know what it is, but to just be curious and to just open myself to this other individual who's possibly now a stranger here, or a stranger on the street, you know, being kind and seeing individuals, whatever it is for you. It sets this powerful intention in alignment with self to the universe to put our gifts to paper or to task, and to then reconnect to something. So this possibility for union is not only where we are then delivered to this next staircase here, where it's like we're in greater possibility of union with the divine and with our gifts, with the self, but also it's liberating ourselves from some type of limiting belief or limitation in some way, or doubt or fear. And it's enabling us to connect more authentically and transparently with the world around us, because as we unlock these next level things in our experience, it's going to open something up in regards to the gift. So let's see, let's get a few code cards out. What can we say about these gifts? Okay, I can't take all of those. I'm going to just, please be very concise here, Spirit. Show us what we need to see. We've got magic, solar plexus, and compassion. Isn't that beautiful? So it's the magic. The gift is our magic. And the way that we are able to courageously, confidently radiate and let our personality and our gifts shine through ourselves without judgment or reservation or fear of some type of, whether it's retribution or retaliation or rejection, abandonment. And it's because we have this compassion for the intention. So for me, again, it was like the intention of reaching out in case she really truly needs someone, or whatever it might be. It's like the size of our heart is activating our will center to continue to direct our magic in a laser beam focused energy to hold space for this compassion and to share that magic forward. This type of message keeps coming out in recent readings. Under the deck, Tantric Journey, again, it was Synergy a moment ago, but Tantric Journey was under the deck in the pre-shuffle as well. And it's been out multiple times this last 2 weeks. It says it's helping us to unlock the hidden knowledge and wisdom, again, this gift here, that we intrinsically hold about how to reach a state of wholeness and completion through our sensual experiences with ourselves and with another. So sensual experiences too, right now it's like the clairs, the claircognizance, the clairvoyance, the clairsentience, and the I don't know, all of the clairs. It invokes the senses for many of us. So you may have scent that brings things forward for you, or the image of something or an animal may redirect you to think about the energy of that animal or communion with that animal. It's like, I was really considering taking it out because I was fearful that it would take out my babies. And so we're talking just a little bit more about awakening to the greater compassion here instead of retribution energy for some. And that could be this regeneration too. It's like I mean, I hate to overuse the word glow up, but whenever we have these energetic uh, transformations, it's like bursting forth from the butterfly's chrysalis here, or shedding the snake's skin, the lizard that drops its tail and then regrows the tail. Many of our literal body systems can actually regenerate. And I believe that the body chemistry rewrites its own expression every 10 years or so, depending on the system. And so there's this magical potential that we are hopefully witnessing within ourselves. And maybe that's part of our gift, is to show other people to their magic, or to just drop that little message for those that don't necessarily have the eyesight to see. They've got the eyes, they've got the niggling information that wants to come through, but they can't pay attention to it. How often have we or others said something to somebody else and they're like, I have heard that from 10 people in the last week or so. It's time that I took more seriously. I guess it's time for me to go and see that movie, or whatever it might be. And within that movie, although it seems frivolous in 3D, you may get some type of profound message or emotional block moving through the sentiments or the sensual experience. Like watching a rom-com, it can, bring up our spirits if we're feeling low. Any of that type of information. So with Tantric Journey, I think that it's kind of also talking about in the interconnectivity between us and Source, us and any of our gifts, and any of our channeled or expressed magic that's coming through. It's like whether it's between us and this magical essence, or us in literal other individuals, people, places, things, this cooperative energy works together in such a way that then that's the experience and the expression of wholeness. We cannot really reach for that state of wholeness until we are comfortable enough in our own skin to go out and just be who the hell we are here. And with this solar plexus and compassion, I think that you have a good deal of fiery, inspired action and desire that you're longing to express in some type of meaningful way. And I think that part of this has to do with you unlocking the next level gifts here. Let's see if any other code cards want to come out. We'll take that one. So I'm curious what you guys are working with. And last time, there we go. All right. Underneath the deck here, dynamic. Yeah, through the storms of life, through the chaos of life, it's here for us to grow and change and to kind of direct that energy. This is an interesting mix. We've got 16 now, conception, 36, prosperity. 42, tantric journey again. And 14, communication. Yeah, it's time for us to reach out, to start something, or to conceive of a plan. It's like we have some type of sacred work or sacred message that needs to be communicated. It's a wealth of spirit that we've been given here. It's like it came through yesterday with this hollow bone, that the crow was kind of speaking it into our crown. It's ruminating, integrating within our energy. And then we were like blowing this sacred breath outward into our world. And that's the prosperity of spirit. And this conception is like helping others to reach their confirmations or their validations of their messages while we are getting confirmation ourselves. Because as they're like, you're the 10th person that's told me, you're like, damn, really? Well, that's my confirmation then. So you mutually confirm each other in that way. And I think that this opens us up to then more abundant mindset, more allowing, more receiving, more awareness, greater receptivity, and greater compassion. Because then the more that we feel, the more that we are aware of how much of a receptor and an empathic sponge perhaps that we are in this world, maybe that helps us to get to the next level, to sort out what is and isn't for us, to set up parameters in appropriate ways that then lets us kind of clear out anything that is not of us in our authentic center, so that we can actually shine for who we really are, getting down to that center of the Tootsie Roll Pop. It keeps coming through. 23, endless opportunities. I feel like many of us here are already aware of all the multiplicity here in the universe, and how the multiversal energies are always kind of ebbing and flowing and dancing and sparkling around us. I think that's why some of us with that ADD type, oh yeah, and boom, interrupt, boom, what about this, what about that? My daughter and I were talking about this last night. Creative types need to ground their energy so that it doesn't become scattered and dissipated. And in that way, that laser-like focus helps us to be more effective, and then more prideful in a healthy way of what we are and who we are and how we are. So we're running out of time, so let's see if I can just show these to you. 28, gracious receptivity. Yes, answering the call, listening, and then taking heed. Number 13, air, paradigm shift. You are one of the main players that are pushing this through. And these butterfly wings with the eyeballs, it's like you're tuning into so many levels because you're connected and anchored to your soul star chakra. And we've also got earth star chakra, and in between, oh my gosh, there is all of the animal kingdom. So this goes full circle. You're very much in contact with the physical world, and it's speaking to you and through you in powerful, beautiful, magical ways. And so here we are, connecting that bridge